going to try to make this a quick one. It's another connection between Tristan E. Nicole, given name Thomas A. Pilone, Pilone. It's another connection between he and this network of child abusers, child traffickers that I've been researching and trying to expose. And along with the connections I've already made between he and other suspects on my list. Again, it was sort of creepily, it was too serendipitously, coincidentally set up for me to go stay with him for a while. I wound up staying only about 2.5 days before I start to feel, I felt very much right off the bat like something was amiss, that I was in danger, and I gathered up my stuff and left at night while he was asleep on the third night that I was there. The first night and the second night that I was there, well, every night I was there, he made me food. After eating the meal on the second night, I got very, very woozy and lightheaded and passed out. After eating the meal on this third night, I could taste something very chemical in the food, and it reminded me of acetone. So, I've gone over a lot of other stuff already in these pictures. I'm going to go over to albums here. The Tina Do album, I'm hesitant to bring up because there's a little girl in it, although there's lots of telltale signs in those pictures. But here's what I wanted to show you, the videos. This one video that he has of a dancing chicken. And that's all it's doing. It's just dancing there. It's a dancing chicken. So here we are finding a connection with something that pops up in my research into pedophiles, pedophile networks, and these people quite often. And I'll show you really quickly. So quite often you can see here men who are interested in boys, young boys, or young children at all. They'll call themselves Chickenhawks, chicken hunters, chicken fanciers, chicken lovers, chicken plucker, chicken queen, and they will quite often, they'll call the children that they're abusing their baby chicks, their chicks, or sometimes they're dancing chickens. We get this from Dancing Boys also. I do write about it here. It's called in Celebrity R.A.I.N.S List. This is my blog on WordPress. I have been putting the URL for it, the link for it, in the descriptions of these videos. And so here, this part, yes, it's under the part about Ze Frank. So here we find another connection to Ze Frank, because this is how he made a name for himself, was sending out an email invitation for his birthday with him dancing around like an idiot. A video clip of him dancing around like an idiot. It was supposedly one of the first viral videos. And this is sort of how he put himself on the map and into the limelight. You can see here how it relates to this idea of dancing boys that are used and obviously used for sex, used for entertainment by pedophiles in Afghanistan. And then you can see here how I relate it to dancing chickens. This also relates to Isaac Kappy. I mentioned Isaac Kappy in the shout out to Tracy Twyman video. Isaac Kappy was a B-lister celebrity who started coming forward in around 2018. He died in 2019. He began to come forward and talk about inappropriate child trafficking networks operating in Hollywood and cults that were like trading their children, so on and so forth, pimping their own children out to other members of the cult. and basically teaching their children, their own children, that it was okay for adults to have sex with kids. He somehow managed to force himself off of a bridge in 2019. Tracy Twyman was found dead a month later. Well, after Isaac Kappy, quote unquote, forced himself off of a bridge, some of his friends in Hollywood, who he was accusing of being a part of this network, some of the other celebrities, people like Seth Green, the creator of Robot Chicken, started commenting very inappropriate things on Twitter, at least according to, I believe I found at least one comment when I looked into it. This was a while ago. I have to go back and look again. I know that Tracy Twyman and other people who she did podcasts with talked about this. They had seen some of these comments where it was like people like Seth Green, celebrities like Seth Green, leaving very inappropriate, nasty comments in the wake of Isaac Kappy's death and referring to dancing chickens. So I would suggest, if you guys want, I would suggest, I mean, it's not finished yet. Most of these posts in my blog are not finished. I started them. I have a lot written, but there's so much more to write. So many more connections to make. But dancing chickens and Chickenhawks and little, baby this very, very much connected with child trafficking, child abuse networks. So yeah, I'll put the link for this in the description of this video. Again, this is my blog. It's called Celebrity R.A.I.N.S List. And none of the blog posts are done yet, but they almost all of them have a good amount of information. It's just, different topics, and I'll pick up a topic and write so much about it. And then quite often that topic will lead me to another topic that I want to get down a good amount about, and I'll write, a good amount about that one. There's some more I wanted to just go over with you. So here's another little website that shows you some of the slang used and gives you references, the books that it comes from. So right here, this kind of chicken, often preyed upon by older men, known as chickenhawks or chicken queens, goes back to the 19th century. A bisexual or homosexual who seeks relationships with young, attractive men or boys. An older male homosexual with a preference for young boys. So I've seen it more often used in that context, but I've also seen it, just be used in the context of they like any kind of kid, doesn't matter the gender. But yes, when you see references to dancing chickens, be wary. Look for other telltale signs that there might be something else. Sometimes it might just be a dancing chicken, but again, I think that because we're seeing the dancing chicken here on Thomas A. Pilone's Facebook profile, and we're seeing it in combination, in tandem with things like this butterfly. Here we go. The pink and purple butterfly with the wings made up of hearts, and the hearts are hearts within hearts. Again, let me remind you. Let's go back here real quick. FBI. Pedophile symbols. The FBI released a document showing typical symbols used by pedophile networks. And here we go. One of them is a butterfly that is pink and purple, and the wings are made out of hearts. Another one is hearts within hearts. And again, because these people are not total morons, most of them will not use these exact symbols. They will instead reference these symbols in clever ways like this. With a pink and purple butterfly that has wings made of hearts and hearts within hearts. So this is actually referencing both of those symbols with one picture. And then again, of course, let me remind you, we have this other connection between he and Ze Frank and Joachim Frank, who's Ze's father. This idea of fish floating in the sky or swimming in the sky, floating above birds and amongst the trees. And we see this oh, look, Richie Rich, sorry. Richard Hart, he's also a suspect on my list. Remember the bluish green gray color when it's over red and purple. Red and purple together make pink. You're going to get I'm going to keep updating yours. And of course, working on some for Chris Thompson, Ezra Koenig, Vampire Weekend. Oh, here we go. And doing a compilation of those that show the fish over a bird, or an idea of a fish floating in air. So this is Ze Frank. This is a screenshot from one of his videos in his second video series on YouTube. The shark, okay, a fish over a bird, over a duck. I see ducks pop up a lot too. That's his logo, by the way, is the rubber duck. This is Joachim Frank, Ze Frank's father. This is from Joachim Frank's blog called Frank's Fiction. F-R-A-N-X fiction.com. And we have the fish floating or swimming in the sky, in the air. Over, it's just one image transposed over another. And over top of a bird. So this, again, this is an image I see being referred to quite often. Fish floating in the sky or swimming in the sky, floating in the air. And it'll be referenced in clever ways. Like there's one up here. Here we go. Fillet of fish. And it's the blue over red over a McRib. This is a beast, a land animal. This is a sea animal. The sea animal is being held above the land animal, as if the fish is floating in the sky, swimming in the sky. So they'll do it in clever little ways like that. Of course, it's on the surface, it just looks like he's holding up two McDonald's meals. But you have to take this, again, this in combination with all the other telltale signs. This is Kronos. So you should really see how he's very much connected with Kronos, the Titan god that ate his own children. He was the god of time in Greek mythology, and Richard Hart seems to be forever showing off his $3 million watch collection. Kronos was also Saturn, his planet. He's planet Saturn, essentially. Up here, oh, he's wearing the same kind of dress code. You see him wearing the same kinds of stuff that follow the dress code, the green over red. Green over red in his logos, pulsex.com. Here's Saturn. Saturn has sort of a natural hexagon, not sort of. It definitely has this natural hexagon that's created by, supposedly by storms at one of its poles. Even has some of the same coloring. And from this picture of Saturn's hexagon on its pole up to his logo for one of his cryptocurrencies. This one's for Pulse Chain. We have that hexagon. We have the blue over top of the purple, the red, and the pink. Remember how again a typical color combination you will see is sort of a blue or a gray or a green or a blue grayish green. A sea, that sea color will be over top of the red and the purple and the pink. Note how it's blue over red, fish over land animal, as if the fish are swimming in the sky. So they do it in clever ways. So that because obviously, again, they're not morons. They're not total morons. And they're basically rubbing it in your face. And they probably get a sense of something that you can read about quite often when you read about people with cluster B personality disorders. They get a sense of what's called duping delight. They love to trick people into thinking things like that they're good people when they know that they're, abusing children. I think that one of their biggest things is they worship time. And they like to steal time from people, scam people out of their time, which is why this guy is a huge scammer, in my opinion. Here's pictures of Yaldabaoth, the demiurge creator deity. He's supposed to be associated with Saturn, but also associated with Abraxas. Some say that it's very much kind of like how Yaldabaoth would be Saturn, would be Kronos, and then Abraxas would be like Zeus, who usurped Kronos. But the father is the son, and the son is the father. They have the same basic story. Saturn usurped his father Uranus. Uranus abused his own children, and then Saturn, Kronos, took the throne from him. Well, then Kronos did that same thing, abused his own children, ate his own children alive, and then Zeus took the throne from him. And then Zeus swallowed one of his own wives who was pregnant with one of his children because it was foretold to him that that child would take his throne. So you see, history repeats itself, like father, like son. So to worship one is really to worship the other, in my opinion. To worship the Abraxas is really the same as worshiping Yaldabaoth. To worship the father is the same as worshiping the son. And we see here the lion-headed serpent with wings. Lion-headed serpent, Yaldabaoth. Lion-headed serpent with wings, Yaldabaoth. Green over pink here. And then we have the gray over pink here. All he has to do is fold that collar of his jacket down, and you got the gray over the pink. And it is folded to some degree. So yeah, I mean, I don't want to prattle on too much. This was supposed to focus more on a connection between Thomas, Tristan, and these people, but you can see how it's sort of all interconnected. These people are up to something, and I see just too many hints at child abuse happening here. Chiron, this is something that connects Michael Maxwell. It's one of the many things that connect Michael Maxwell. So we'll get into the other suspects at a later date. But just to round it back, again, we've got the fish. I'm actually going to download this picture and add it to that PDF. We have the fish floating in the sky. And this is an image that I see connecting these people. A certain kind of image that I see connecting them. So, and another thing is the dancing chickens. That's really... Why? Why just a random just a dancing chicken? That's the only video. It's just a dancing chicken. And there's quite a few telltale signs in this top right album as well. I hesitate to explore it on video because of the little girl in there, but it's worrisome. Once you know the symbols to look for, the color codings to look for, it's worrisome. Let me remind you also, again, I started to, it was too conveniently set up that this chick came into my life and suggested I go stay with her friend here, T. And when I didn't have any place to go, and this guy, remember how I said they're time thieves? They try to take time from people. This guy was very clearly trying to steal my time from me, under the guise of helping me. So I guess, because I know that some people be like, he gave you a place to stay. He gave me a couch to sleep on. Yes, thank you very much. But then also made it during the day like I didn't have any freaking time to get anything done. So I would be sitting down at the table with my notebook and a pen and a list of things I needed to do to get things together, get my life on track, make so I didn't need his help. And he was actively distracting me. Actively. This is a 70-year-old man. 70-year-old man, who was also supposedly a counselor. So you'd think would have the selflessness, the lack of ego to understand, okay, she does not need me constantly in her face, talking at her, and distracting her. She's trying to get this done. She's trying to accomplish some tasks. She needs to get these things done for herself. He gave me some a lot of very bad advice that led to problems for me, and wanted me to sleep in the bed with him the very first night that I was there. I insisted on sleeping on the couch. Again, this is a 70-year-old man who thinks that he's a woman. 70-year-old women, and I know that at age 38, I like my space. And if I just met a person, which we just met that day, when I showed up to his place to stay there, that's when we met. And that very night, he was offering for me to sleep in the bed with him. No woman does that. No woman, unless she is batshit insane. No woman in her right mind, I know at 38 years old, no woman's going to be doing that. Doesn't matter if she's a lesbian even. She's not going to right off the bat be offering her bed to a woman she's just met. She might let her sleep on the couch if she feels like, okay, this is a good person. She's just down on her luck. She needs a little extra help. Yeah, sure, you can sleep on my couch. But she's not going to have her sleep in the bed. This is somebody who is affecting the idea of a woman, but he doesn't have the first clue of what a real woman is. They think, I've noticed something, that these dudes who think that they're women, their idea of a woman is it's like we're little girls having a slumber party. Their idea of a woman is more akin to a little girl. It's very sick, it's very sad, it's very scary that they think that that's a woman. And it's very insulting, to be quite honest, and disrespectful to real women. It's disrespectful to us. No real woman wants to share a bed with some random stranger that she just met that day. Certainly not a 38-year-old one, and certainly not, I can't imagine a 70-year-old woman would be down for sharing a bed with, I've never met a 70-year-old woman, a real woman, 70 years old, born with the equipment, even highly narcissistic, but at that age, they want their space. They are not up for sharing a bed with some chica they just met, even if they're attracted to that person. And he did say that he was attracted to me in texts. I'll be releasing a video with those texts soon. Yeah, he's like, yes, I found you attractive at first. Like, dude, you just met me. I called him out on that too. Like, first of all, you just met me. Second of all, you are a solid, 30 years older than me? 32 years older than me? I should be like a baby to you. I know that 20-somethings are like babies to me. I can barely tolerate them, especially teenagers. Ugh. So the idea of a sexual, any kind of relationship, romantic relationship, anything other than like a guidance counselor, mommy type, like trying to get them to grow up in a nice way, a relationship other than that is disgusting to me, the idea of it. So for a 70-year-old to want to have a relationship with someone that significantly younger than they, someone who's 30 years their junior, tells me you have a problem. You have a serious problem. And the fact that he has this kind of little catchphrase that he said to me, and I saw written in here somewhere on his profile, is like the Forever 37. They don't want to grow up. It's the Peter Pan complex. Okay? They want to stay young and pretty forever. They want to be a young, pretty girl forever and ever, and girls just want to have fun. Like, they want to just have a big party. And it's like, that's not a woman, honey. You want to be part of the women's club? Guess what? A big part of that is learn how to bend over and take it, bitch. Learn how to bend over and take it. That's part of what makes us strong. It's not all girls just want to have fun slumber parties. You're disrespecting real women. You are disrespecting us. Anyway, I don't think that I think that at least half of these people, they know that they are not really women. They don't feel like they're really supposed to be women. This is being used as a mask, as like, something to hide behind. Because these days, you're considered to be like an evil, mean person if you point the finger at someone who's supposedly trans, and say, I don't think you're really a woman. Well, then they can, publicly go, she's so awful. She's not tolerant. No, I'm just down to earth and realistic. Next, you're going to say you're a mountain panda or some nonsense. You're freaking nuts, nutballs. Or you're just as bad as the people out there who think that they're fairies. Or mermaids. Oh my God. Like Ariel. Please do, yes. Go submerge yourself in the sea and live there. Permanently, just don't come back up. Go ahead, Miss Mermaid. Please. Like, we don't need your nonsense. There's enough nonsense. And so again, they're chaos makers. They are time thieves. They steal time from those younger than them. I think that that's one of the things he was trying to do to me. He was trying to steal time from me any which way he could. I think that's something he probably did to Jennifer Borden, the chick who introduced us. I think that he probably latches on to women who are significantly younger than he. Perhaps men too, I don't know. Anyone. He should have a background in psychology. According to him, he was a counselor. I think he finds certain people who who are sort of in a bad place in their life, and he slithers in there under the guise of offering help. Here's a picture of him from about 7 years ago. So it's pretty accurate if you just replaced the dyed red hair with auburn red hair with and that's very close to my color hair, with very gray white hair now, salt and pepper hair right now. And I think he comes under the guise of being a help, and really he's there to suck your time and energy away from you and suck attention towards himself. And again, this is the Peter Pan complex. Mommy, 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 look at me, look at me, look at me. Because they're vapid black holes. They need constant attention and approval and applause. And really, they need to learn to just fade away. Go away. You're old. You're a has-been. You're done. You're over. Go away. Like, you should be at the point where it's just giving time. Okay? This is ridiculous. Like, for these creatures to be leeching off of those so much younger than they, who don't need to be leeched off of because they're already in a bad way. Again, he told me himself, and Jennifer Borden, this chick who introduced us, told me herself that she's had bad relationships with men. She has a bad relationship with her mother. However much of that was true or just a lie to get me to trust her, I don't know. But if it is true, she certainly didn't need to be leeched off of for her time and her attention. She needed to have time and attention poured into her. Just like I certainly was not in a position to be leeched off of for my time and attention. I needed to have it poured into me. and or just be given free time and like peace of mind to just sit at a table quietly and, you know, make some phone calls and work out stuff that I needed to do, instead of just having someone constantly at my ears talking hours and hours and hours until the whole day was gone and I didn't accomplish anything, you know? And it's like, again, a 70-year-old who was a counselor should know better than to do that. Should be able to pick up on certain cues and go like, oh, that's right, she needs to achieve some things. She's homeless right now and sleeping on my couch, so I'm going to go be quiet and let her achieve these things so that she doesn't have to be homeless sleeping on my couch anymore. And again, I had a very strong gut feeling that it was being done on purpose. He was trying to distract me from getting things accomplished and getting myself out of that situation. He was actively trying to distract me from doing that. And even when I persevered and still managed to achieve things, you know, again, I also started to taste weird things in the food. After I ate the food one night, I felt very dizzy and passed out. Then the next night, when I tasted very strong chemical taste in the food, I actually excused myself. Said I was going out for a cigarette, went out and threw it up in the bushes, came back in, and within about an hour, he said he was going to lay down for like a power nap or something. And it was just past dark. And I was like, okay. And gathered up my stuff as quietly as possible and snuck out. So, and it just seemed like this chick like was placed into my life. Placed herself into my life briefly to direct me towards this guy. But that, if I had to take a stab at how they met, I would say that's probably how they met. She actually does have a strained relationship with men and with her mother, and fell prey to this dude, and probably joined in with the little cult club. And I wouldn't be surprised if she has offered her daughter up as her proof of loyalty to the club. And then they also would get paid by people to be allowed to do things with their daughter. This is the thing I keep finding in my research, that this group, this network, pimps their own children out to other members of the network. And that's one of the ways that they pay their bills. It's quite disgusting and stomach churning, and it's because they're too lazy to work a fucking Mick job. Zay, too lazy to work a Mick job? I gotta pimp out your kids instead? Disgusting. I guess you're too good for that, huh? Too good to work a typical 9 to 5. Gotta pimp out your kids instead. Pathetic. Anyway, yeah, this slippery, slithery snake is for sure part of this cult. This group that Richard Hart is a part of, that Zay Frank is a part of, that Joaquin Frank is a part of, and really that whole family. Michael Paul Maxwell, the artist based in New York. Chris Thompson, Ezra Koenig, and Vampire Weekend. And just remember, when you see dancing chickens, be careful. That is a really big telltale sign. On its own, might just be dancing chicken, but in tandem with so many other things like the butterfly with the heart wings, it's just and the floating fish floating in the sky. This all tells me you are a part of this network, Thomas. And I was directed to go in such a direction to go stay with you, likely so that you could harm me. So now I'm wondering, where's the next attack going to come from? And I think it's interesting that I wound up at his place right around the same time, just before the time that Zay Frank released one of his videos, the one with the meerkat, the pregnant meerkat standing. You can see right up her cooch. And a standing meerkat means the occulted meaning of that supposedly is that you're going to be attacked by someone. So yeah, I do think that they are actively trying to harm me, cause me harm. They know about me. They know that I've been talking about them, researching them, trying to get them exposed, trying to get them put into prison for what they do. Isaac Kappy also talked about things like he was staying with some women at first that he thought at first were very nice and were going to help him. And then I think his opinions started to shift on that. So again, they will come in the guy because they're slithery, slippery, pathetic snakes, disgusting, spineless creatures. They will come in the guise of somebody who is your friend or a prospective partner or something along those lines. That's how I think they got Tracy Twyman through her second husband. And they will wait for the right moment and hurt you, or maybe even over a long period of time be slowly poisoning you. All right, so I'm going to end that one. I just wanted to really document, again, another thing that is connecting Thomas A. Pilone, Tristan, E. Nicole is the dancing chicken. And remember that connects to pedophiles that call themselves Chickenhawks and call their victims their dancing chickens or their little chicks. It connects to the dancing boys. It connects to Zay Frank. That was his first claim to fame. And I'm signing off now. All right.